Proxy server. A proxy server behaves as an intermediate server between the client and the internet to ensure security and administrative supervision. Proxy servers help to reduce web page retrieval time of the users whenever they make a request for a web page, as a certain web pages will be stored in the proxy server. Organizations use proxy server mainly because using a proxy server cuts down network traffic cost, as proxy server stores the web pages that users will access or does the caching. Topic covered in this lecture: proxy server, need of proxy server, functioning of proxy server, types of proxies, benefit of proxy servers, problems with a proxy server. Proxy server. A proxy server is a type of buffer between a computer and the internet being accessed. A proxy server builds up and stores files in a particular database called cache. Anonymous proxy server conceal your IP address and thus avoid unofficial access to your computer via internet. The proxy servers carry out two functions: improve performance and filter request. Need of proxy server. The main use of proxies is to permit access to the web within a firewall. In the normal instance, the similar proxy is utilized by all the clients in a particular subnet. Establishing a proxy server is simple, and the most accepted web client program by now contain proxy support built in. Hence, it is easy for configuring a complete workgroup for using a caching proxy server. Functioning of a proxy server. A proxy server should have two NIC cards. One NIC card links to your internet connection. The other NIC card links to a hub that connects the server to the remaining part of the network. By itself, proxy server behave as a router that passes traffic to and from between your local network and the internet. After obtaining the internet resource, proxy server sends the requested information to the computer that made the request initially. Functioning of a proxy server. Continuing. Detecting intruders. When you firstly establish your proxy server, it is perhaps secure to tell that you will follow all the things for making your proxy firewall safe. You can simply complete intruder detection via some of the inbuilt proxy server settings. To change these settings, open Microsoft Management Console and load the suitable snap-in. Proxy server has three kinds of proxy agents: web proxy, Windsock, and FTP proxy. Even though these three kinds of proxy agent regulates various segments of routing, the configuration alternative which they have are approximately same as each other, a real safe proxy server can protect all three kinds of proxy agents. Types of proxies. There are three types of proxies: web-based or HTTP proxy. This proxy server receives the request from client within the firewall. An illustration of HTTP proxy server in a network is depicted in the following figure. FTP proxy. This type of proxies is highly specialized and targeted for work only with FTP server. An illustration of a FTP proxy in a network is shown in the following figure. Caching. The mechanism of caching involves saving the recovered document into a local file for additional use. Therefore, it will not be required to connect to the remote server the next time that document is requested. The caching mechanism is disk-based and constant. It can tolerate restart of the proxy process and the server machine itself. Due to this feature, caching gives rise to new options while the caching proxy server and web client are on the same machine. Benefits of a proxy server. Security. If a proxy server is accurately configured, you lessen the exposure of your internal network to hackers. Cost. The cost of having one large connection to the internet through a proxy server is smaller than having a modem on each desk. Administration. A proxy server gives you a choice for blocking sites considered inappropriate. Caching. Some proxy servers provide the capability to save pages, web pages because they are accessed in future. NAT capability to utilize less amount of public IP addresses for making your network noticeable to the external world. Irrespective of the amount of workstations utilizing private IP addresses on your LAN through network address translation. Problem with proxy servers. In contrast to benefits, there are certain problems associated with the proxy server, and some of them are given below. Training. There is a need for some knowledge for setting up and monitor in optimal condition. When it is valid that anyone can establish a proxy server, some knowledge is essential to make the best use of this server. Single point of failure. Operating a proxy server provides your internet use one point of failure. If the proxy server breaks down, then all the clients connected to it cannot use it unless it is mandated. Planning. It can be complicated for someone who does not have any experience with the proxy server to calculate specifications for a proxy server. Based on what proxy server used and what functions it has to carry out. A proxy server can be network, memory, disk, and processor intensive in any combination of the above. Security. You have to be having knowledge about the configuration of the operating system the proxy runs on safely. To the extent by putting all your client after a proxy, you encourage the external world to collect on any attacks on your network on your proxy server. Remote user. Users who use laptops and work from home or hotel room may find difficulty in using the internet through a dial-up internet service provider as all their software is configured for using proxy server. Letting these users to operate with your proxy server and dial into an ISP and when traveling on the road need a little bit of planning. Insecure data. The disadvantages of having proxy server is that the data is not secure. For example, consider all data sent to the service must pass through the proxy server before being sent to the service. This data is mostly in unencrypted form. This can enable a malicious proxy server to record everything sent to the proxy. Also, confidential information such as unencrypted logins and password. Thus, proxy of known integrity should be used. Conclusion. A proxy server is a type of buffer between a computer and the internet being accessed, and it builds up and stores files which are the most frequently asked for by hundreds of internet users in particular database called cache. There are three common types of proxies used that are given below: web or HTTP proxy, FTP proxy, and caching. Thank you for watching this video.